From our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Peter Murphy begins now.
Good evening. Key groups are veering from their usual allegiances as debate continues to rage over Labor's support of a controversial UTAS move. Industry backing the plan to free up the Sandy Bay campus for housing as the Liberals push a bill to keep the status quo.
In the shadows of the dilapidated medical building at UTAS's Sandy Bay campus, industry leaders joined Dean Winter's School of Thought, supporting plans to pack and move the university into Hobart's CBD.
What we're really hoping the move to the city will do, most of all, is to really integrate industry with the university.
With questions looming over what happens to the structures still standing on the campus, Master Builders says it will provide more job security for those in the construction workforce.
We want to see these buildings either repurposed or redeveloped. We can turn this into a really critical site to improve housing affordability.
There's no intention from Labor or the Greens to support the government's proposed legislation, which could block plans to put the campus up for sale and cast doubt over a $500 million STEM facility.
It's bad policy made on the run during an election campaign that is going to cause significant problems for the university.
We believe there are some fundamental challenges when it comes to the legislation that governs UTAS, the decision making, the accountability.
The government says it's open to working through these concerns.
We're not going to withdraw the bill, but I am working with all stakeholders to make sure that we arrive at a solution that will work for our community.
The bill is expected to be voted on when Parliament returns next month. Lily Thompson, 7 Tasmania News.
The former partner of a Tasmanian judge accused of assault, emotional abuse and intimidation has told a court she was scared and terrified following a violent altercation. Gregory Geeson's lawyers questioning how much alcohol she had consumed as she gave evidence at the hearing.
Speaking from a separate room at the Hobart Magistrates Court, the witness was probed on a string of abuse allegations made against her former partner, Gregory Geeson.
I was concussed. I was shocked. I was in trauma.
It's the third day of the contested hearing in front of Victorian Magistrate Susan Wakeling after Gregory Geeson pleaded not guilty to charges of assaults and emotional abuse or intimidation. On cross-examination, the witness recounting her trip home from a local pub on October 31, 2023.
I don't recall being drunk. Tipsy, but not drunk.
Saying a series of texts between her and a male colleague seen by Geeson after he allegedly grabbed her phone, igniting an argument. The woman alleging he grabbed and pushed her. Geeson's lawyer, Tom Piercy, insisting the accused was upset, but not in a rage.
He was shaking me. I was terrified.
The defence questioning why the pair slept in the same bed afterwards. The next morning, texts showed the pair were seemingly civil.
I was trying to work out a way to leave Hobart. I knew he didn't want anyone seeing my bruises.
She later met up with a colleague who she says told her, "You have to get out of Hobart." The hearing will continue tomorrow.
The Greens are slamming draft legislation which would pave the way for a contentious wind farm. Tasmania's Environment Protection Authority is appealing a decision to approve the Robbins Island project because of the potential impact of wharf construction on sensitive sand dunes. The government now accused of bulldozing protections in the state coastal policy.
This is heavy-handed action by the government at the behest of a multinational corporation to build a development in a place that it should not be built.
The government says the proposed changes simply correct a legal anomaly and are open for public feedback online. The corruption scandal engulfing Victoria's CFMEU is tonight expanding, with the Albanese government backing the appointment of administrators to seize control of the union. But the state government wants to go further, today considering deregistering the Tasmanian branch altogether.
A sneaky cash transfer deepening the CFMEU scandal. A builder allegedly buying support caught on secret police camera hidden in the union's Sydney office. As questions grow louder over how much dirty money has been funneled into the union, so too are calls for Tasmanian Labor to open its books and reveal the extent of donations from one of its major party backers.
I think that Labor is in a pickle with this and they ought to disclose that number sooner rather than later.
Labor's already said it won't take another red cent from the CFMEU, but won't say how much it's taken or if the cash will be handed back.
I don't think it's fair or reasonable to say that people at the last election or the election before should have or could have known about these allegations.
The Fed's getting on the front foot.
We see wrongdoing and we have acted. We've acted swiftly.
Sending in an independent administrator to clean up the mess. Workplace Relations Minister Tony Burke calling the situation abhorrent.
The number one job of any union is to look after its members. That's a job of the union and it's a job of the officials. The reported behaviour from the construction division of the CFMEU is the exact opposite.
But the federal opposition says the move doesn't go far enough.
If the Prime Minister had any backbone whatsoever, he would deregister the CFMEU.
The state government now investigating whether it can deregister the union's Tasmanian branch. Annie Green, 7 Tasmania News.
A surprising number of younger Tasmanians are starting to feel the pinch as the cost of living crisis deepens. One local charity says it's run off its feet, responding to an 18% spike in people seeking its help.
Vinnie's volunteers are being run off their feet, and now the charity is raising the alarm. Inundated by more than 3,500 Tasmanians seeking emergency assistance since January.
It can be anything from some food right then and there, or some help with financial assistance, even petrol to go to doctor's appointments.
Last winter, charities were concerned about the number of people needing their services, and it's only gotten worse.
Many families are struggling to afford rent and food as well, and sometimes it might be a choice between the two.
Vinnie's has seen 600 more people than this time last year. Many of those are turning to the society for the first time.
It's also very hard for them when they first come, so we want it to be a place where they feel supported and welcomed.
As numbers skyrocket, volunteers are noticing a worrying demographic shift as more under 30s reach out for a helping hand.
For want of health or a family crisis or loss of employment are now finding themselves in need of our services.
To help keep up with the surging demand, Vinnie's is urging Tasmanians to dig deep and donate to its winter appeal.
We are hoping by the end of August, when the appeal concludes, that we will have raised $250,000.
To keep the worst of winter at bay. Victoria Risto, 7 Tasmania News.
Independent Meg Webb is calling for a review into the government-backed first home buyer scheme, claiming it disadvantages the low-income Tasmanians it was designed to help. Participants are only able to make monthly repayments and are locked into interest rates almost 1% higher than other loan products.
We need to have a loan arrangement that has really competitive interest rates, that is entirely flexible.
You refer to changes in interest rates. We obviously keep an eye on that, but we think we've got the settings right.
More than 400 loans have been made under the My Home program as of last month. Even though rain couldn't stop the pizza ovens from firing up, it wasn't ideal weather for Hobart Council's first school holiday bake day. Hoping for better conditions at the next event on Sunday, it's a chance to have your own pizza creations baked in the wood-fired ovens by the pros.
Well, we've got 12 bases here and they make quite big pizzas, so they'd share between 2 people easily.
Face painting is also on offer at the fortnightly day. And of course, pizza, these slices getting the tick of approval. A local performing arts hub in Hobart CBD is crediting its expansion to government-funded business advice. Eternal Performing Arts Centre is one of more than 1,000 businesses which have already taken up the state government's offer, with up to $275,000 of funding available.
Everything from moving onto internet to how to, market, advertising opportunities, all of that's been really handy.
It's being joined by a new government-funded program, Small Business Peak, which is designed to help small businesses navigate changes to our industrial relations laws.
Launceston Tornadoes' inaugural NBL1 coach is bidding an emotional farewell to the top job. Sarahville breaking down in tears, announcing she's stepping away for family reasons after 5 seasons at the helm. The club's longest-serving coach says her impact on young players' development is her proudest achievement.
When I came on board, we really need to focus on a development program. We knew that we couldn't be sustainable and rely on imports, even though they're a huge part of what we do.
Sarah has backed current assistant Hayden Zadney as a potential replacement. The Tawns will call for formal expressions of interest next month. And the Northern Hawks are confident they can swoop in on another netball premiership after an unbeaten season. In fact, the ladder leaders have only dropped a single game in 3 years, but they say it's not something to focus on.
We never really speak about our win-loss ratio. It's more like we do it for each other.
The Hawks will be facing a younger Cavaliers list, with the challengers boasting a relentless defence.
One-on-one is our brand of defence that we always like to play. We've worked really hard on it at the back end of the season.
Saturday's grand finals will be a case of double deja vu, with both the Opens and Under-19 finals rematches of last year.
Good evening. Hobart 10 degrees today, Launceston and Burnie 12 and 13 for Devonport. Across the island we saw 14 the high on King Island, Luncheon Hill 13, Flinders Island, Low Head and St Helens all 12, 11 the maximum for Friendly Beaches, Bushy Park and Strawn, 10 for Marai Island, Grove 9, a cool day for Laiawini managing just 3 degrees today. Scattered cloud was evident about parts of the state, particularly in the southeast and far northwest. Low cloud continues across the eastern seaboard associated with a cool air mass, while high cloud moves over southwestern WA. Tomorrow, a broad area of low pressure will head east of Tasmania as a large high pressure system ridges across the majority of the country. South to southwesterly winds increasing up to 35 knots about the east and southeast. West to southwesterly swells building up to 3 metres. A gale warning has been issued tomorrow for coastal waters between St Helens Point to southeast Cape. There is also a strong wind warning for the Channel, Frederick, Henry and Storm Bay, and also for waters between Stanley to St Helens Point and for the southwest coast. A minor flood warning remains for St Paul's River at Lewis Hill. Possible showers on the way for Hobart tomorrow, 11, a shower or 2 for Cygnet 10 also in New Norfolk with cloudy skies expected. Another cold night for Launceston, -2 overnight, warming to 12 after a morning frost. 12 and sunny in Devonport, frosty also for Campbelltown, 10's the top. Fine in Burnie, 11, a couple of showers likely for Strawn 10, partly cloudy in Smithton 12. Cloud clearing in St Helens 13, partly cloudy for Swansea 12, much the same in Fingal with 10 degrees. Soggy conditions it seems for the remainder of the school holidays. Friday inland frosts return, followed by showers extending statewide later. Showers continue across the island on Saturday with snow falling to 900 metres, and Sunday showers about the west extending to the north with possible light showers elsewhere. A rainy day for Perth tomorrow, 18, a morning frost for Canberra and Alice Springs, 19 and partly cloudy in Sydney. Right now this evening, Hobart and Launceston both 7 degrees and 5 degrees in Devonport. Well, thanks Murph for sharing my middle name. I'm not sure what yours might be, but I'm sure it is Trouble.
Kaya, I resemble that comment.